From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Heavy rain is looming for the south-central U.S. this week, which will ease some drought conditions, but will also bring with it some flood risk. Rain is expected to develop over a large portion of the south-central U.S. this week, signaling the end of the current stretch of warm, dry weather. The change in the pattern will raise the risk of flooding and help raise water levels along parts of the Mississippi River, which have fallen to near record low levels in recent weeks. Before the shift, warmth will abound over the southern portion of the plains and the lower Mississippi Valley. The warm and dry conditions will raise the risk of wildfires, though. A storm that was over the northern Pacific Ocean on Friday is forecast to move south along the west coast before turning inland this week. The most likely track will be across portions of central Texas and through eastern Oklahoma, before advancing northeast toward central Missouri, potentially impacting travelers along areas of Interstates 20, 40, and 70. The heaviest rainfall is expected to spread across a swath from locations north of Dallas through just south of Kansas City, where at least 4 to 8 inches of rain is forecast. Locations surrounding this corridor from the Gulf Coast of Texas north to Chicago will also contend with an inch or two of rainfall from this pattern. Soil moisture levels in the region range from near normal to extreme drought. That's according to the latest U.S. Drought Monitor. Now, for that reason, the same amount of rain could produce very different impacts across short distances, from little effect to small streams upwards to urban flash flooding. However, some areas could receive sufficient rainfall for flash flooding to occur, even where drought conditions persist. A long-term drought across much of the Mississippi River basin has caused the river to drop to levels rarely seen before. The drought began in midsummer when the pattern shifted from frequent rain and flooding to only occasional lighter rain. Several smaller storm systems have brought brief rounds of rain to parts of the region in recent weeks, leading to short-lived rises in water levels along the Ohio River and the middle and lower Mississippi Valley. However, after each storm passed and the brief rise in water moved downstream, levels quickly fell again and continued to disrupt tug and barge traffic. Later in the week, the developing pattern could bring a general 2 to 4 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts from central Texas to central Illinois and southern Indiana. Some of the rain will fall over the Red River Basin, which has little effect on the Mississippi River. However, heavier rain reaching the Arkansas, Missouri, and Ohio basins could provide a modest rise in Mississippi River levels for a week or two in December. Significant rises in river levels are possible during and after the rain event late this week. Anyone planning activities near unprotected riverbanks should consider alternate plans, as some low water crossings may become impassable for a time. Shifting our focus out to the West Coast, AccuWeather forecasters are warning that another storm will sweep into the West Coast with additional moisture in midweek. The areas that received the highest rainfall totals so far still have the risk of lingering ongoing flooding and even some mudslides, particularly in the foothills of the surrounding terrain. Widespread 36-hour rainfall totals exceeded 3 inches across the Los Angeles basin, with some areas recording over 5 inches over the weekend. Snow continued to spread across the higher levels of the Central Sierra early Sunday, adding inches to the growing tally at mountain ski resorts throughout the region. Another storm is on track to arrive by midweek. While the exact track this midweek storm may take is still being ironed out, the risk remains for coastal California to endure another swath of rain, some mountain snow, and blustery coastal winds. Later in the week, another opportunity for stormy conditions will present itself along a portion of the West Coast. A storm pushing into western Canada will migrate southward into Washington, Oregon, and potentially northern California by the weekend. This late week event will bring a chance for accumulating snow in the upper levels of the Washington Cascades and the coastal range. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.